On this episode of Mild to Wild Builds, we're actually going to take the subframe and set it into the truck. So we're going to get rid of all this old stuff. We'll get the new stuff slid in. This thing will start looking like a beast in no time. So, welcome to Mild to Wild Builds. I'm Jeff Duncan. Alright, so what we got going today, you can see the shop's awful dark. Turn this thing around, view of it, don't have to look at me. So we got the lights turned off in the garage. We have the laser set up on the bench. We're going to do our best. We'll probably put some marks on that, on the table, so we can hold that in place. But what we've done is we've shot down through the car. You can see the line on the cab there. So we've measured center to center of the frame rails. And we have that mark there. Don't worry about the one on the new frame rail because it's just sitting on there. So we got it there and we got it there. When you're setting up a level like, or a laser like that, you need to make sure that you don't just take your point from, like, say, the back of the frame rail. Because that laser can be off just a few degrees. And if you center it here, so your center here, but way up there, you might not be the same center. It could be off by a quarter, half inch, and you not really know it. So you want to make sure you get your center line, get it leveled up, get a mark on the cab. I've got 3 marks on the back of the cab, so that gives me an idea of where, if my laser gets moved, I can shoot it back in, and I got the little bullseye thing up there on top. So what we're going to do now, that'll really make Casey happy. So we know that we have, let me turn the lights on so we can see. I just wanted to get a little better view of that laser with the lights off. So what we're going to do now is we know that we had our center line of our rear end housing was 36 inches from here to the front side of the front side of our ladder bar cross member. So we'll take this and just kind of give us a double. So we should be 38 to the back side, right? Well, actually it looks like we're 36 to the front side. There we go. We'll drop a plumb bob on the marks we have on the other frame rail. Well, that's about where we're at, 36 to the front side. So we're from the center of our old axle, which will drop a plumb bob down from the frame rail here to here so we can measure forward. We will want to cut the frame at 34 inches. So from here to our cut here will be about 34 inches long. That way we have the 2 inches. So basically the back of our box tubing will wind up flush with our cut here. And we'll do that on both sides, and then we'll just take this whole section here out of the equation, get it out of our way. Then we can start sliding the new subframe up in it, try to get everything all squared up. We know our measurements. We got center marks on here. We've got center marks on here. So we'll get it slid into the truck. We won't touch the laser. So that way it gives us a nice permanent mark to continue to go back to. And we'll start dropping some plumb bobs. Pull us a quick measurement, just give a rough reference. From the back, it appears to be right at about, let's just call it, we're going to call it 35 3/4 from the very back. Which gets us just to the front of this hole in the frame rail, which should be a factory thing. There's one on that side. So we'll go over here. I should have something else to hold up the next plumb bob. Wasn't planning very good with that. Stole these from the shop, just like pretty much everything else. Eventually the shop's going to be here, so it's just less things that I have to carry around, right? So let's see, what do I have heavy? Oh, box tubing right there. Okay. Main thing to do here, guys, is just take your time. I mean, I've been excited. I wanted to cut this thing apart for like the last 3 weeks. You just keep getting. We had enough footage that Casey was able to work with, so we hadn't had to do any filming. So roll this back to 35 3/4. Match the back. Excuse me. I forget you guys can hear about everything now with the mics. So it looks like this rear end just on its own, it's about a 1/4 inch out of square, which isn't very surprising for an F10. I mean, let's be honest. So let's go from this bed mount forward, see where we're at. Take a couple different points. I'll measure from the back side, it'd be easier. So we are 18 15/16 for this side, where we have it laid out to. Yeah, 18 15/16. So from our marks, where our lines are hanging, we are the same distance. Just perfect from a couple different points. So what we want to be is from these points here, and I'll grab the camera and show you how far off this was from the factory as far as the ring, your center line for your rear axle. I'm dropping these midpoints. Grab this. But woo, enjoy that ride. So you see this, your plumb bob. You can pick these up at your local hardware store. Nothing fancy, just a string and a weight. You can even do it with a string and a piece of wash nut or whatever, just something heavy to hang. That one there got you all pretty close to center of the rear end housing. Then you come over here to look at this one, and this is factory stuff, guys. I mean, so that's about a 1/4 inch difference. And there's not really, you know, you could have a little spring move or whatever, but these things aren't very square from the factory, unfortunately. And until you go to cut one apart, you never realize that. So what we're going to do now is we'll measure forward using a starter solenoid to help square you up there. So we need 34 inches from center. So we're going to go measure up along the frame rail here, 34 inches. Right there. And again, we want these things to be as square as we can make them. You know, it's a little different if we're on we're working on jack stands and a concrete floor. It's a little different if you actually have a full-on chassis table. It gives you everything where you can really square these things up. But I mean, let's face the facts. 95% of us don't have that or even access to it. So this is the way we build trucks at home. Race cars, whatever. So this is what we do. You get it close. That's why they make the rear ends with Heim joints and stuff in them. I mean, if you're off by a little bit, I mean, I'm not talking inches, you know, talking like 1/16. You know, some of them are up to 1/4 inch or what have you. It's not ideal, but let's face the facts. That's the way the world works. You have adjustments with your rear end to get everything back where you need it to be. So, with that being said, we'll take a couple quick measurements here let's go off our body bolt. Center of your body bolt is what appears to be about 7 1/4. And you got to take for granted or whatever that, you know, the body does sit square on the frame. We have to also remember that S10s were throwaway vehicles back in the day. They weren't meant to be high-powered race cars, that's for damn sure. 7 1/4. So we're pretty straight there. This side's got a couple bolts in it. I don't know, holding some bracket. So we're going to take that off. And probably be making some noise, so I'll shut the camera off and we'll just go through some time lapse while we cut this thing off of here. All right, something else I just thought of whenever I was cutting the bolts off of that is we might want to pull, because the truck's not sitting square in the garage, obviously. So, and how we wanted 2 measurement points, so we can see our one measurement here where the thing centers up. What we might want to do, or you might want to do, is pick you a point that's say on your garage wall somewhere that you'll know that you're pretty square out with. We're at 83 3/4 there. Then just write it on your wall. That way it gives you that second point to make sure your laser's square. That should get you started. Other than that, we got the little thing cut off that was on the inside that had the frame, the holes blocked there. So we have that cut off. I got the bolts about, I don't know, 1/4 inch away from the frame, and then they locked up. So I took the grinder and just cut them just a little bit. And then was able to take the impact and just break the bolts off of them. We've got our straight line. I took the leveled it up, made our straight line come across the top. We're going to leave the front mounts. That gives us a really good point for the bed. And then somewhere else that we need to measure is the back of the bed on this particular vehicle bolts to the top of the frame rail here. I'm sure there's a body bushing or something in there. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take this measurement here to the floor, which is 26 3/8 to the top, and we'll write that down somewhere. And this side's a little different. This side is 26 7/8. A little tweak to the frame. I didn't level it off the back. I leveled it off the center bar. So it is what it is. So as long as we know we're somewhere like that in the back, what we might have to do with these frame rails right here is if we have to, we can, after the shock bracket, we can add to or shorten this up to try to get our elevation the same. Same thing with, I cut this off to this length, not thinking that my frame rails might be a different height. or we can just leave them low if they're going to be low, which is what I'm assuming they'll be, and then make a bracket that goes up to the bed. The only thing with that is, you know, we don't want to see that frame rail out the back. So we'll get to that point when we get to the bed, but just a couple points to point out before we get to setting that thing on the ground. Make sure that you got a good, we're going to get a floor jack underneath the rear end housing. Might slide those jack stands sitting right here underneath the back of the frame. Make sure you have everything supported very well. We're going to use the cutoff wheel, which isn't the best choice, but it's what I have. You know, I'd prefer to use like a plasma cutter. It's faster, gives us a little more room for air per se. Just because if this is in any kind of bind, it'll pinch the blade and can cause you a little bit of injury if you're not careful. So just take your time with the cutoff wheel. If we were removing these, we'd just go in with a bandsaw and hack that thing right off there. Wouldn't be any problems. If it gets bound up, it just stops. Just the potential with the wafer wheel is it can explode. So when you go to cut that apart, just take your time. Make sure you don't wear all your proper safety gear, and I think you'll be just fine. Well, there's no turning back now. We are about an 1/8 inch from falling off. Smack it with a hammer and hope it breaks. So best of luck to those of you with earbuds. And there it is. Back half is off. Better turn that thing off. There we go. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time out here tonight, but I just really wanted to get this thing off the truck. Like I said before, been kind of saying we're gonna do this for like 3 weeks, or at least it's 3 weeks for you. I guess it's 3 weeks for me too. Like I said, the first bit of video that you guys got has got us through all these weeks. That explains why it's kind of the same thing, just step by step. And if you like that, let us know. If you don't want as much information, just let me know. We'll do something a little different. I do have plans for, like during racing season and stuff, we'll go through our day there, just to, I guess, include you in my life. Not that any of you probably care, but hey, you'll be along for the ride. You can laugh at me. Do as I do, or do as I say, not as I do, however that goes. That old man saying. Now we get all this stuff picked up here. We'll slide this thing right out of the way. We'll slide this new one up in there. Take a look at it, see what it looks like. it's all tacked together, which you'll have seen in last week's video. And you've probably seen it that way in a couple of our intros, where Casey and I are both trying to figure out that whole intro, exits, just everything. But again, we kind of need your feedback to make sure we're giving you what you want, or what you like, or what you don't like. Pretty much anything and everything. All right. Let's make it look like something. Oops. Got the training shield. Speaking of training shields and transmissions, Wayne Sneerly of SRT Transmissions, the transmissions, racing transmissions, he's came on board. He's going to do he's going to freshen up our Power Glide for us. And we got to talk to him or whatever, but I think it'd be pretty cool if we go through, and I'll leave him with a camera for a week or something, and he can take video of it coming apart and going back together, and then we'll be there live. Maybe not live, but we'll video it while he's got it on the transmission dyno. Shows all the pressures, shows how he goes through all those procedures. I know Wayne's kind of going to do the same thing that I had done in the chassis shop side of things with his transmissions, of only doing specific things. Man, it's just hard. Life's hard. Trying to make a balance of everything. It's always something. And grandbabies, I mean, I'm new to the grandbaby world, but they are definitely something to want to spend time with. So we wish Wayne the best on his new adventures with that. And there it is. We just made our S10 a super short bed. If anybody's looking for a really nice solid set of rear frame rails and stuff for an S10, well, I have a set. I won't even charge you for them. You can have the rear end and all. It didn't have the greatest of gear ratios for anything we wanted to do, so, but it's here. Somebody got a first gen S10 that's broke. Got the rear end's broke in it. Need a rear end. Been hitting the rear end. Need some frame rails. It'll be there. It'll be sitting outside for a while till I get it on the trailer and find a scrap guy to come get it or whatever. So if anybody's interested in that, just let us know in the comments, or you can hit us up on Facebook. Just my personal page. We haven't opened a Mild to Wild Builds page yet because we wanted to make sure we got as big an audience as we could when we shared messages and things like that. So kind of holding off on that for a little bit. So what do we need to do here? I think for now we're just going to set it up in here, see what it looks like, and kind of go from there. Yeah, you'll see in last week's video that it wasn't fully squared yet, and we'll get that done in this video. Get it all squared up, make sure it's true. Hopefully get it welded in the truck. I know Case said that this video is a little longer than the last ones, but I kind of feel that you guys might get bored of watching the same thing, so we need to at least get this thing to where it looks like something. So what we're going to do is pick this thing up, set it right up here. Slide it right between the frame rails. Just like that. Uh-oh. Sounds like Mama's home. Hang on. Alright, so we got the frame rail set up here. Obviously, it's not permanent type deal. We're just going to set it in here. Kind of get a look at it. Oh, pardon on me. That seems low. So I think what I want to do. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. We'll pick that up there. Alright, get it in there. So let's I don't know if these will go low enough. Probably not. Of course, never have enough jack stands. Never. Never, never, never. Let's see what we can get done here. Yeah, this might be. By the time I get that shoved around in there. Ooh, what if we do it here? Oh yeah. Look at there. Using the old noggin. Oh. Let's kick this thing off of here and get my floor jack back. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. Shee! There we go. That looks a little better. Still needs to come this way just a little bit. Let's see what the old tape measure says. We are 28 and a half to the outside. That's what we ended up being. So half of 28, so we're 14 and a quarter is where we should be. Oops, wrong way. And again, we still got to square these frame rails up, just kind of get a look at it. Yeah, something along those lines. About 15 inches to the outside of the cab on the low part. I think our biggest issue we're going to have with this here is the back spacing on our wheels. I think that's going to be probably our biggest holdup. Probably not going to be as far off of that as we thought it was, which is cool. Makes mounting the bed a lot easier. Like I said, this is definitely not the final on the squaring of things by any means. This is just kind of getting a feel for it, looking at it. Still got some things in here we need to trim out. Get it moved around a little bit more. I need to, this was the side that I needed to take a little more off of anyways on the frame. We're 19 7/8 there. Yeah. So we should be right at about 20. What was this? Yeah, we were 40. We needed to be 40 and just the inside to outside was inside to inside is 40 and 3/8. What are we here? Well, we should be good. But I do have to trim a little bit more off that frame rail and get that to slide over a little bit so we can get in center. And then once we get everything squared up, trued up, it'll look better, make more sense. Got some tight spots here. We'll get all that stuff cleaned up, move forward. But yeah. Oh yeah. Be able to put a big old fat tire on the back of that thing. All right, well I think that'll do it for tonight. Mom's in there fixing dinner. Both of us working and everything. You don't get as much time to spend with your loved ones. You're trying to build race trucks. So, got to keep Mama happy if we want to keep playing. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in, keep Mama happy. And we'll carry on with this bad boy. Yeah, so I need to slide that over just a smidgen. Let me go ahead and get a mark before we call this a day on this rear mount. So we are 22, 24 and a half, so that puts us at 12 1/4 is our center mark. We'll go with that. Sure, that says that's off by a lot. That side's got to come forward a little bit. We'll pull some more numbers. Everything else is looking pretty decent. As far as spots on the frame. What are we at? Inch and... That spot's poked through. 1.5 inches there. And we are... Yeah. A 3/8 difference. Frame to frame there, so... We'll get her figured out, get her lined out, get her in there. Ain't nothing but a thing. If we have to box stuff in, we'll box some stuff in. Yeah, other than that, look at that. Got frame rails in there. Ooh, take that ride. That'll give us a pretty fat tire on the back side. Give us a nice low ride height. That's what we'll be looking for. I don't know, I'm just one of them guys. I like my race cars to sit fairly low. It's not a monster truck, so. All right, well that's it for this evening. So we'll try again tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.